Welcome to Flosstube and Variety Show number 170. Yes, 170. Today is Friday, September 19th. I'm Emily Williams in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me. So this is an experiment today because I have a new phone holder for making these videos, which I'm also, at the same time as using a new phone holder, I am changing I'm changing to using the back camera on the phone, which is, I think, supposed to be a better camera. I don't know. We'll see. The weird thing is that because I'm using the back camera, I can't see very well. I mean, I can't see at all. Well, there's a small amount of reflection in the lens, so I can sort of see myself moving a little bit, but I can't see at all what I'm showing you. So in order to counteract that, I'm mirroring my phone screen onto my computer screen. The computer is over here. So if I turn my head like this, it's because I'm looking at the computer screen to see what you can see. And this is weird, I'll tell you that. So this is an experiment. We'll see how this goes. I hope I don't end up looking only over here and then I'm not looking at you, and that it will be disturbing. I don't know, maybe it's always disturbing. And you've been kind enough to not say anything. I realize I need to do one thing before I get started. Just one moment. Pardon me. There, I just needed a chair nearby so that I can put things down on it. Okay, let's see how this goes. Flosstube is cross stitch. Variety Show is something else, which we'll discover later on what it is. So I pulled this out, working slightly, a little bit in this Bertram, I can never remember, I call it Bertram. I should call it Bertie. Bertram Savile Ogle chart. This is from the All Things Bright and Beautiful box. Red box that was earlier this year. It's so cute. And what I did this time is I carried the border down on this side. Let me just see, what can you see? Yeah, carried the border down. You can see I'm just starting this corner element right there. I had thought I was gonna carry on and do more other things, but I just didn't really get to this. This is 46 count Latte using 103 silks, the ones called for in the chart. So that's fun. I mean, it is fun. I wish I had done more. I also pulled out Old Willow Stitchery's Royal Thistle Sampler and Accessories. And I have made some complaints about this in my mind at times because it's not a perfectly done chart, but it's very satisfying to see it come together. Yeah, this is not the problem of the camera setup. So this is where I am, and I worked down here on the, finished out this lavender border and started on 2 rows of letters for the sampler. So interestingly, below these letters, there's this one row of, these are queen stitch blackberries or something, and then 2 deer, and then another row that matches the top of this eyelet up here, and then a gold single stitch row. So I'm really almost done. And when I finish that, I'm gonna go back and redo the satin stitch, not redo. I'm gonna go over it again with another thread because I'm not satisfied with the coverage of that little chevron Bargello type satin stitch. I'm gonna go back and cover that again. But it's nice, it's a cute little thing. I like the fact that it has purple in it. This is 46 count something. 46 count, it's pretty fabric. I also worked on Hannah Green, Queen of the May 2024. you know, I think I'm gonna take this project with me to England to work on. So I'm not filling in. So for instance, I did these flowers over here. Where am I? Right over here. I did these flowers. I haven't put the blue in them. I did these flowers in this big urn. I haven't filled them in. I am gonna probably fill in the urn. It looks like this. This is the same one on the other side. Just because it's sort of hard to leave that open, although maybe I'll just do the blue. And I mean, I'm not unwilling to refer to the pattern. And what I really should do is to move on down into this part of the field and do the peacocks, because let's see what's down there. Yeah, peacocks. Once I've done the peacocks, boy, this is all weird, sorry. Once I've done the peacocks there, then it's a lot of grass fill in. So that would be easy. And I'm trying to think of things that are easy to do that don't take much of my mind so I can chat with people or mainly listen to the talks. Who knows? Last time I did do quite a bit of stitching, actually. All right, Plum Street samplers. I worked on this Upon My Heart, which is the commissioned piece from the Queen City Sampler Guild for our 30th anniversary. And it's typical Plum Street. I mean, I don't know if you can see that very well, really, but there's a saying and there's animals and a house, and very, very pretty, actually. This is 40 count something, Dolly Madison, maybe. And what does this look like? I finished the words, and I carried this border around to this corner, and I think I can't remember if I had carried that down, but I definitely started on the house, and I did the two doves, or pigeons, or doves probably, that are there. They still need their beaks and their legs, and there's a tiny bit of over one involved in that, but this is the top of the house, the chimney. This would be a candidate for taking with me also if I get into that house. But there's actually quite a bit of detail in the house. You can't see it from this picture, but there's little pink bricks, individual bricks in there, placed various places, and there's some back stitching. This 2025 placard is over one, so it's not really simple and straightforward. The border is, sort of, but I think that's too small. It's 40 count. I don't think I'm gonna do that. And I also pulled out the Jane Greenoff. I thought I would have finished this, but I didn't. Sorry, I'm looking to see. But I did throw my hat over the fence on that purple flower. There isn't really room for it the same way that it's charted in the original because I put in Swindon 2025 there. That's wider than the grasshopper that was there. But I just figured out where I could put it, and I redid the leaves that are attached to it, and and there's supposed to be a little bug between the two flowers on both sides, so I'll put something in there. There's a lot to choose from what's above. I mean, I could pick this little bug is the one that's supposed to go in there, right there, in a different color. So I'll probably have room for that. Whatever I do, it'll be fine. It doesn't have to be very realistic. I was talking to Leslie, who's also working on this, and she pointed out that the instructions say that the French knots for the insects, which there are some there, if you can see, are supposed to be one strand. Well, didn't do that. I'll say that this is 32 count. Dusty Road, I think, maybe. And it's hard to do French knots on 32 count linen, especially with only one strand of thread, because it just pulls right through. So where I was successful in the French knots, the most success was where it was over stitching, that also, you know, gave it more to grip onto. And where the French knots are a little more out in the open, I had to pierce the linen threads to make sure that they would stay. And I lost a few. And there were a few places I just decided I wasn't doing it. For instance, these little bugs right here are supposed to have French knots on the end of their antlers, and they don't, because I pulled it through the fabric a few times and decided this is crazy. I'm not doing it. Oh, I should have shown you on Hannah Green. I also started the line of the verse. Oh well, that's all right. And I worked some on the Quaker pattern book by with my needle, Ellen Chester, who's a member of the Queen City Sampler Guild and was one of the founders, actually. And I worked some more on this. I put this bird in, and I don't think I did anything down there, but I put the bird in. This, of course, takes a long time because this is 56 count Albarium by Cedar River, and I'm using Soie surfine in a blue color, very pretty blue. And I like how it looks. I like the result. And I don't mind working on the 56 count once I sort of get into it, but it's slower going than bigger count for sure, that's fine. I think most people have appreciated that, understood that, found that to be true. I don't know what the expression ought to be. So last week I got a lot of comments about my stocking stuffer ideas, and I happened to be going through a pile of things that were on my desk and came across a few things that reminded me that here's another great Christmas present idea. So I thought I would bring you a few things here to show you. And so the idea, the category is puzzle books and magazines. And there is something for every age. So this isn't just for kids. A lot of my suggestions last week might have felt more like they were for kids, but for any age can enjoy. There's something somewhere in stores for anybody. And of course, I'm a big Sudoku fan. I happen to have one of these Dell Sudoku books that you can get in newsstands, airports, bookstores, pretty much anywhere you can get these. And they're very cheap paper, pencil or pen will write on them. They're graded puzzles, and what I usually do is I actually tear the pages out. I have a torn out page here. And work on, this is 4 puzzles, I just tore it out, I'll just work on it, I don't need the book. And if I don't get it right, I just put an X next to it and go on to the next one. That same idea, there's logic problems, which are this type that you solve on a grid. It has, statements like, the person to the left of Bob did not have the red parrot, and then you can mark in the squares to try to figure out who done it or who had what, or whatever the question is. These are also available in the same places that the Sudoku books are. And I'm bringing these up as magazines and books because some folks don't want to solve puzzles on their devices. They would rather solve them on paper, or they would want to give that option as a gift to somebody. So these I bought probably 3 or 4 years ago, and they were $7.99. And that book right here was probably $7.99. Yeah, $5.99 actually. But I have heard that sometimes you can find these types of things, these newsstand types of magazine books in dollar stores. So you might get it for $1 or $2 or something. So you might be able to get it for cheaper. Now, if you're interested in more variety or higher quality puzzles, I have some suggestions for that too. Now, these are old. These date from 2021 and 2022. kind of surprised they're that recent, but Games Magazine World of Puzzles. Now, Games Magazine used to be a monthly magazine that was about all kinds of games, not just pencil puzzle type puzzles, but there would be an article about video games or an article about computer games back when that was a specific thing. I guess it kind of still is. And it would be an article about puzzle creators. But these World of Puzzles are variety pencil puzzles. There's some word puzzles and there's some logic puzzles and unique collection. What is this? Is this an article? No, there's some reviews of games in here also. I had forgotten that that's in there. And these you can get as individual issues, or you can get a subscription for a friend of yours who needs entertainment. And I had a subscription, which is how I happen to have these. And I gave away some of the individual issues that I hadn't gotten around to doing any puzzles in, because it comes 8 times a year, I think. And it was just, well, of course I was working at the time, but I didn't have time to do a lot of them. But my feeling about these magazines that are $8 and these types of things is that you need to give yourself permission to only do the kinds you like. You do not have to do all the puzzles. I mean, I did this one, Trimming the Tree, which also these give a number of light bulbs of difficulty. So this is a medium difficulty. I think it's 1, 2, and 3 light bulbs. And I tend to do this type, the double cross type of puzzles. I tend to like those. I like the nonogram puzzles, which are, I just saw some in here, which I hadn't done, which look like this. They call them paint by numbers in here. Oh, I've started one. But I don't do the hard crossword puzzles, or I don't do some of the, like these tend to be wordplay puzzles, and at the time, I didn't do them, that kind of puzzle. But I have a few magazines still, and they are available as a subscription. They also used to put out best of pencil puzzles. This is from a long time ago. Might be 2002. Oh, 1992. Oh, this is an old book. And I got these, and I haven't done any. Well, this was also in the era when I did not want to write in the books. I didn't want to write in the magazines. So I have some pieces of paper in here that I now, by the way, I write in them. And if I don't feel like finishing the puzzle, I just don't finish it. That's just how it is. USA Today put out a book, this was probably 7 or 8 years ago, of logic puzzles. They also put out wordplay and Sudoku. Very nice quality paper. I bought the book. I didn't want to write in it, so I haven't done anything, but I'm going to, because again, who am I saving it for? Now, there's a few other things to do, and those are to buy books rather than more magazine type things. Now, Puzzler Magazine is a publisher that does puzzles in the UK. And they put out a magazine you can subscribe to, and you can also buy individual issues, I'll say, maybe special issues, which are more like books. So I happened to get this one a few years ago. Has a wide variety of types of puzzles. And the logic puzzles are, and code word and that kind of thing are fine. But the crosswords are any word puzzles tend to be very British specific, so it makes it a little hard. But maybe you're British or you know someone who is. This is a book I bought recently. It's called Myrtle. It's graded logic problems, and it follows a storyline. And there are some sort of overarching principles you have to apply in each puzzle. You're told what they are. And it's kind of interesting. There's facts about the people. It's presented, I mean, you end up with this same type of grid as in the sort of traditional logic puzzle grid, like those magazines I showed earlier. But it takes a little bit different pathway of thinking to solve those. And then, of course, there's Sudoku books, which there are a lot of Sudoku magazines. I would say they are of moderate quality of puzzles. But if there are books by particular authors, they probably are hand-created puzzles, and so they possibly have a higher quality. This is a book I've mentioned before. This is an excellent gift type book. How much did it cost? $12 a few years ago. The Healthy Brain Book of Sudoku Variants by Bastien Jaime. I don't know how to say his name. I believe he's French, but he might not be. But this gives types of puzzles, and they each have a section, and they gives what to look for in it, how to sort of hints on solving a puzzle, that type. And then it gives 7 or 8 or 10 puzzles that are graded in difficulty. So the first one is just 1 star for difficulty, and it goes on. I haven't finished this book, but the paper is really nice for writing on, and I have written in it. I've gotten over not writing in things. And then there's books like this one. This is The World of Sudoku by Akash Dulani, who's an Indian constructor and solver. He's appeared in the World Puzzle Championship and the World Sudoku Championship, I'm pretty sure. And he has maybe 10 volumes by now, possibly. And so these are 120 handcrafted Sudokus for your little gray cells, which is, of course, quoting Hercule Poirot. So this one has classics and thermos and killer Sudokus, and they are, at the bottom, he gives the solving time of Freddie, who is Freddie Hand, puzzle maestro, who was a chess, I think he may still play chess. He's very a brilliant person. So anyway, Freddie Hand has his solving times in there. You can compare it yourself. This one is 20 different variants in the 6x6 type puzzles, which you might think would be much easier to solve because it's smaller, and some of them are easier to solve, but they can be very tricky also. So anyway, this is another thing. These books you can get them on Amazon. They're nice quality paper, so you can write in them. I encourage you to do so. And you can also look for, New York Times has books of crossword puzzles, and I mean, you can tell that my directional bent toward puzzles is more logic and number type puzzles. But there are a lot of kinds of puzzles, crossword puzzles and word search puzzles and code word and things that you might find in the newspaper. There are books about them. If you do puzzles from the New York Times puzzles section, there are books, especially crosswords, that you can buy. And they make great gifts. I always was happy if somebody gave me a puzzle book or a puzzle magazine as a stocking stuffer or as a present. Even after I had an iPad and was doing a lot of puzzle type games on my iPad or my phone, I still like to do it on pencil and paper. And sometimes it's just easier or more polite or more conducive. The environment is more conducive to doing it with pencil and paper. Also, I think it takes a different type of thinking to do it on pencil and paper as opposed to doing it in an app, solving a puzzle in an app. For sure, that's true of Sudoku. So, I'm still in the center of the screen. This is another briefer video. I spent quite a bit of time this week on an HOA mailing, and I had the help of my book club pulling that together. What else happened this week? Well, it seems to me I lost a day of mostly not stitching one day. I don't remember. Oh, I did. We had book club, and I actually finished the book. Not quite. I haven't quite finished it. Book club was last night, but I have a few chapters to go, so I'm going to finish it maybe even this evening. It's Friday, right? Friday evening. Lovely. Yeah, so some things took some time and attention this week, which is all fine, because not everything can be stitching, which is also fine. There's lots of great things to do. So I hope that you were not too weirded out by any weird camera angles or me looking to the side in this video. Please let me know if you found anything notably different, liked it, didn't like it. This setup I have does have a light, a ring light, but when I use that, I end up with these double circles on my glasses, and I think that's unacceptable. So I'm still working on lighting as a problem to be solved. Technology, it's our friend and takes a lot of time to tame it, doesn't it? I hope that you have a great stitching week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again next week in another video. And I always enjoy your comments. Many blessings to you, friends.